Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly press briefing here at the Kosovo Specialist Chambers, where we aim to provide journalists with an update on the latest developments at the court and a look ahead at next week and an opportunity to ask questions. In the Hashim Thaçi et al. Case, the fourth witness called by the Specialist Prosecutor's Office continued their testimony this week. The defense cross-examined the witness during this time. The witness's testimony was conducted in private session. Yesterday, the trial panel expressed its concern that almost all of the evidence so far in the case had been heard in private or closed session, and reminded the parties that there is a public interest in these proceedings taking place to the extent possible in a public fashion. The trial panel instructed the parties to duly take into account the principle of publicity and issued an oral order seeking submissions on concrete steps to ensure a greater degree of publicity in the proceedings. After this, the fifth witness began their testimony yesterday, and part of this testimony has been conducted in private session and part has been conducted in public session. Hearings before the KSC are public unless the trial panel decides to close the proceedings or go into private session in accordance with the rules of procedure and evidence. The decision by a trial panel to conduct parts of the proceedings in private session or closed session is taken on a case-by-case basis, and the main reason is to protect the security and identity of witnesses and victims. The defense, prosecution, or victims' counsel may request that all or part of a session be held in private or closed session. The decision by the judges whether to grant such a request is taken after careful consideration, including consideration of the specific circumstances of the testimony or arguments planned for that day. The judges make sure to balance the need to protect witnesses with the rights of the accused. So even when a witness testimony is not public, the accused and their lawyers can hear what the witness says and have the right to cross-examine the witness. In their order on the conduct of proceedings, the trial panel in this case made clear that, quote, legal arguments and presentation of evidence by the parties and participants shall be heard in closed or private session only where strictly necessary. Hearings in the trial of Hashim Thaçi, Kadri Veseli, Recep Salimi, and Jakub Krasniqi are scheduled to continue next week from Monday to Wednesday. In the trial of Piotr Shala, hearings continue the week after next, starting on Tuesday, 30th of May. Having in mind the public nature of the proceedings, on 15th of May, the trial panel in the Piotr Shala case ordered the parties and victims' counsel to undertake a revision of the transcripts of the trial hearings from 1st to 3rd May, and to make submissions on whether existing redactions can be lifted and/or transcripts can be reclassified as public. As a general matter, information which is confidential at one stage of the proceedings is regularly reviewed and may be made public later if this can be done without risk to witnesses or other participants in the proceedings.